This is the plaintiff, Megan. She says she moved into an apartment the defendant owned. The woman lived right downstairs with her wife and 2 babies, and it was a crazy atmosphere. Needless to say, she moved out and is now having the dandiest time getting her security back. She has no other choice but to sue for the $1,100 she's owed. This is the defendant, Ileana Adrat. She says she left a boatload of garbage in the apartment and it reeked to high heaven of cigarettes. She should have run for the hills when the plaintiff paid the rent in singles, and it became evident the girl must be a stripper. Oh, her money? No chance. She's accused of being tight-fisted.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff moved into the defendant's home and isn't getting her security back. But the defendant says the plaintiff must be a stripper because she paid her rent in singles. It's the case of stripper. She hardly knew her.
Douglas, okay. Megan, you've asked us not to mention your last name. You are suing Ileana Adrat?
Correct.
Okay. Your landlord for $1,100 in security deposit that you say she is refusing to return to you. You lived there and moved out when?
I moved in on April 22nd of 2010, and I moved out on April 1st of 2012.
Okay. And when you moved out, according to you, how much notice did she give you?
2 days.
All right. And you were on a month-to-month at that time? Were you on a month-to-month during this lease, or you had a...
Absolutely.
No, okay. And why was it so quick? Why did you only give her 2 days' notice?
Well, it came up at the time that my boyfriend had asked me to move in. He was like pressuring me to move in, and I decided at the last moment that I wanted to move in. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it.
Oh, because I saw a text where you were telling her that you had to move in with your sister to help her out or something like that.
Right.
That was a lie?
No. Well, I just feel like it was none of her business what my situation was, considering that we were on a month-to-month regardless.
I guess so, yeah, it was a lie. I don't know. All right,
but anyway, so I moved out that, I told her a week before, and I let her know, and she said that was no problem. Okay. She wished me the best.
Had you paid April?
I had.
Oh, okay.
I paid on April 1st.
Yeah. I was holding her security.
Yeah, she was holding my security deposit.
And you paid April?
Yes, I did. No, I didn't pay April. No, I didn't.
So you didn't pay the month that you gave her no notice on?
Exactly.
Okay. And then you moved out in 2 days?
Right, correct.
Okay. And when you say to me she was perfectly fine with that, I mean, what is she going to do? Shoot you? I mean, because why? Because her emails back to you are like, wow, you're really... Let's read her text back to you. Her text back to you is, you're really leaving me in a bind here. You're giving me 2 days notice, but okay, I'll try to rent it out. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, and then what happened? You guys had a very civil relationship.
Absolutely.
We did, and it was fine. And if it was really a problem with me leaving in a short notice, I would have waited. But she said, no problem, I understand. You're moving on with your life.
Well, yeah, because you lied to her. You didn't tell her, I want to go live with my main squeeze, and I'm in a hurry. You didn't say that part. What you said is, her roommate moved out on her a couple days. She needs someone right away to replace the rent. It's so sudden, but I have to take it by the 1st. I have to live with my sister, my poor sister, gave her this other sob story. All right, sorry to see you go, but I understand you're giving me 3 days notice, so I have to rush to rent the place ASAP. I don't have the security till I rent it out. Now, do you know when that place was rented out?
Well, I actually, after like a month of her not paying me and actually pushing me off, on and off, I went and I spoke with the neighbor, and the neighbor had informed me that she rented the place like 6 days after I left.
Okay, did you?
No.
When did you rent the place at?
It was the middle of May.
There was nobody there in April? Do you have any proof that there was somebody there in April?
No, I don't.
Did you rent it out with a lease or without a lease?
With a lease.
Can I see the lease?
I don't have it with me. Okay. I didn't think I was going to need it. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So then what happens?
It was just downhill from there. Like, I left and she wasn't returning my text messages. I was asking her to pick up my mail. She wasn't getting back to me. Then she had told me, oh, well, I'm going to give you my security this day, and it never went in my account. She just kept pushing me off.
Well, there's a bunch of pushing off. There's text. I love text.
Right.
Text just recreates. Text, Facebook, email just makes the world go round now. It makes my job so much easier. There's a bunch of texts back and forth, and she tells you April 19th she hasn't rented the place yet. Then in May 8th, you say, I called and texted you yesterday. I'm short on money. Could you give me my security deposit back? She says, give me your account number at TD and I'll put $500 in this Friday when I get paid. If she does, according to you, $1,000-something worth of damage, okay, because that's your reason for not paying her, is what? Why won't you give her back her security deposit? Give me your reason.
I gave her back $500 into her account.
But why won't you give her the rest of it?
Because there's $1,200 worth of damage
So
to my
why would you
house,
give
and I
somebody
spread
who
it.
did $1,200 worth of damages $500 back? If that's true, and
Because
you're not
I'm
just
fair.
trying to
I kept
if somebody does
$600.
$1,200 worth of damage,
Right.
How big was her security deposit? $1,100.
$1,100.
That means
I
she
kept
owes you $100.
And I took responsibility for $600 worth of damage.
Well,
on
then
my
she
house.
didn't really do $1,200 worth of damage. I mean, one of the things you list as the reason why you won't give the money back is that a tenant is responsible for the stove. What was wrong with the stove?
I replaced the elements on the stove. The stove was taken apart when I got there. I went and replaced the elements and the little covers to catch the drippings. And when I went to try it, the stove wouldn't work. I had a guy come in and take a look at it, and he told me that I guess when they took the elements and took the stove apart, they broke the electrical circuit
Tell me
on
about
it.
the elements being removed. What's that about?
Because I'm a neat freak, so the whole time I lived there, like every time I cook and something would spill, like on the aluminum underneath, I would go to Walmart and I would pick up new ones. And since I was leaving, I wanted to
Can you
leave.
just clean them or put foil on
Right.
them?
Well, they would. I'm a messy cooker. Whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, so when I was leaving, I wanted to put new ones in there for her. So when her new tenants came in, that it would be nice. I wanted to leave it nice for her, but it slipped my mind. I was like rushing everything last minute, and I didn't put them back.
So
and
where'd
I
you-
apologized
where'd they
to
go?
her. I just threw them in the garbage, but I apologized to her and I let her know that they were $5
Okay,
at Walmart.
did you disconnect something though?
No,
you're just talking about the little metal plate where you go like this, you lift the element, and you take
the
them.
actual metal ones that you could like pull out, that's easily pulls out, and then the silver ones you just lay inside the bottom. It's like a plate. It's not connected to anything.
Okay,
It
how
just
old
sits
was the
in there.
stove?
The stove. I have a picture of the stove when I moved out. I sent her a picture of it. I sent her actually a few pictures of the apartment.
Do you
in
have
condition.
the bill from the electrician? Well, actually, you just bought a new stove, right?
I replaced
Do you have
the
anything
stove.
that says this stove can't be fixed?
No.
But in
The
general,
stove
I
was
left
not
that
working.
apartment
The oven wasn't
beautiful.
working, so I replaced it.
I left that apartment beautiful. I did so much work. I was there for 2 years.
Yeah, but let me just ask you a question. If you didn't pay April rent and you gave her no notice, why would you not owe her your security deposit at a minimum in rent?
I wasn't aware of that, but as far as I knew, between me and her, we had an agreement that it was okay, that she was going to pay me if I left on that day.
So it didn't come out in the testimony, but if this plaintiff really did pay her rent in singles, is it a fair conclusion to draw, do you think, that she's a stripper?
No way. She could be a server. She could be anything. But who
$1, singles.
some people are cheap. You get paid in singles.
She could be a waitress.
That's right.
Really? A waitress is getting a bunch of singles? I mean,
Of course.
you wouldn't get a 5 or something?
Well, she could be working at a bar.
At a yogurt shop.
Yeah.
Or she's going to pay it?
Coffee shop.
Coffee shop, exactly. Starbucks.
You're acting like I got a thing against strippers. Sorry. Going inside the courtroom.
You informing someone, I gotta go to help out my sister who's in trouble, which is a lie, is not someone having an agreement with you. Just because someone is nice and says, wow, you're leaving me in a bind, but okay, but really, I'll hustle and try to see if I can get it rented out. And if I get it rented out real fast, I'm not out anything, I'll give you your security deposit. That is there's nothing in it for her. She's just being polite to you. You don't have an agreement. That's just, you have informed her of what the law is, and she's going, oh, right, I guess. She didn't go there and hit you with a baseball bat, or threaten to sue you or anything else. She said, well, all right, I understand. That's not, you have an agreement and you don't have to abide by the rules everybody else in the room has to abide by.
So
you don't get the $1,100 back because at a minimum, your rent is $1,100.
Yes.
At a minimum, because of the lack of notice, you owe the $1,100. And then, does she pay you $500?
No. She never
And you
paid me
say
a
you
dollar.
did?
Yes, I deposited it into her
Can I
account.
see the proof that you deposited it?
I don't have the right slip with me.
What were you going to
But I
say?
did put money in her account.
Okay, did to, did
500.
not. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Wow.
The only thing that I was unsure about was the fact that if I had decided to move out on April 1st, I paid rent for March. I left before even April started.
Do you seriously not understand what I'm telling you? You have an obligation to give a landlord notice.
If it's a
the
lease,
reason
though.
you have an obligation to give a landlord notice is because they otherwise have to eat April. It's not fair. In some places, you don't have to give them. In some places, you have to give them 15 days notice. In some places, you have to give them 30 days notice. In your place, you have to give them 30 days notice. Even on a month to month, you have to give them 30 days notice. Why? Because that gives them a chance to re-rent it so they're not out. Because just because you feel like moving in with your boyfriend doesn't mean she doesn't have a mortgage to pay. That doesn't work that
an
way.
agreement in text that she's saying she's going to pay me, though.
It doesn't matter. Do you know why? Because she apparently doesn't know the law. but the lady in the black dress does. Okay? So she's giving me all the wrong reasons to keep the 1100. This case would have been a 2-minute case if she'd given me the right reason. But I'm not going to pretend the right reason isn't there. We are done. My verdict is for the defendant.
So the law is the law, and here comes the plaintiff. Step on over here. Step next to me here and turn this way. You understand the judge's ruling here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you know the law is 30 days, and that's the way it is, right?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Well, you should have known that. What else did she have against you as a tenant? Were you a good tenant
I'd rather not
otherwise?
make any more comments, if that's okay.
Whatever, right down there. All right, so come on in here. Step on in here. Obviously, you're satisfied how this comes out.
Very happy.
Judge says you could have countersued for more.
I know. I want to keep the peace. I was really trying to be a good landlord and not take anybody for their money. And, we had a good relationship. I felt bad the way it ended.
Was she a good tenant otherwise?
Yes. Yes. We both tried to do the right thing for each other.
Okay, Harvey.
Real quick, you got to know this, that the notice provisions actually vary from state to state. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.